Hi, in this video I'm going to share with you a number of tips to help you improve your mental resilience for the purpose of a job interview. Okay, tip number one would be that passing screening rounds does not correlate with interview prep. Okay, or to put it another way, it doesn't really matter how much you interview prep when it comes to passing screening rounds. Okay, this isn't to say that you should not prepare for the purpose of a job interview, but by knowing what to expect, by setting the right expectations, I believe also your mental resilience will improve, right? And maybe save a lot of resources along the way. Okay. Second tip I'd like to share with you here is that AI overdose will deceive you for the purpose of a job interview. Okay, I tried this myself. I've done a number of experiments, for example, by improving my YouTube scripts using AI. And at first I thought, wow, what an interesting suggestion you would give me. And then the longer the conversation, the more interesting I thought it was, until in the end, not only the script or the video that I did using AI's help did not work out, but the type of advice I was receiving was seriously deceiving, because I'm the type of person who likes to think out of the box. Okay, and I would assume that you applying for jobs with high-performing companies, you would have to think out of the box, whereas AI is stuck in the past, cut off 1 year from now. So you can imagine how there will be conflict brewing up there. Okay, in the past I suspected that watching too much YouTube can be deceiving, but when I saw what happens with AI overuse and overdose, if you want, you know that's something for you to consider. In my experience, pen and paper works great to revise and to improve your communication and your listening skills and your interviewing skills all together. Okay. Tip number 3: during your job interview, try to shift your mindset from answer the question to, hey, why is this person asking me this question right now? And the moment you'll change you'll shift your mindset from a reactive to a proactive approach, you will see that by interviewing somewhat slower, your mental resilience will also have to benefit, but ultimately your answers will greatly improve for the purpose of passing, or for the purpose making or of biasing your interviewer towards you. Okay, so start with why. You can also Google for this concept. It will greatly improve your interviewing skills. It takes a bit of listening skills, but all in all, I found people who are employing this approach of starting to ask why the question gets asked also had benefited from increased levels of mental resilience in these job interviews. Okay. Tip number 4 here: if you know yourself that you're not too good at dealing with stressful situations, okay, then my advice to you, and that was advised by someone actually here, would be to limit your interview prep and limit the expectations from your interview prep to what you can achieve. Okay, so set achievable goals, even smaller goals, because, and this surprised me as well, this actually worked for more than one candidate applying for jobs with high-performing companies. Okay, so what happens here is that if you know yourself, you cannot really cope well with stress, then don't put a lot of pressure on yourself for the purpose of preparing job interviews, but rather focus on smaller goals, achievable goals that will in turn give you strength to go into the interview with a clear mind. And again, I'm not this type of person. I also like to push myself, to put stress on myself, because that's when I feel like I perform best. But not everyone is like me. So if you know yourself not as stress resilient, and try to set smaller goals which you know you'll achieve, which will empower you to interview. And again, to my surprise, this worked really, really well in high performing companies. All right. And the tip number 4 I like to share with you here would be prior to your job interview, but also during the interview prep process, try to get a little bit of moral support. Okay, right before the interview, there is this thing, some people prefer to have warm-up sessions. You know, some people hired me, you know, to be their coach just before the interview. It helps, you know, to warm up their thinking, let's say, also maybe as a bit of moral support. But some people benefit from this. It doesn't have to be a coach, but it can be a friend. But, you know, someone to give you strength. Okay, so I hope you found these tips useful, and thank you very much for watching.